What's up, my comic comrades? Today we continue covering Tom Taylor's epic Detective Comics run. He's been doing some great things with Batman and seemingly setting us up for some big in-canon changes to the Dark Knight's mythos. We've been covering every issue up to this point, so make sure to check out our past videos on this story as well if you're not up to speed. Either way, you definitely want to watch our theory video on where we think Taylor is headed. As for today, we're covering issues 1092 and 1093, which pick up right after Batman took a Fountain of Youth serum in issue 1091. So, spoilers incoming. But before we dive in, we've all seen the insane wildfires that have been absolutely ravaging Southern California, and seeing so many people lose so much very quickly has been heartbreaking to say the least. But rather than just watch helplessly, we've created a campaign with the Red Cross that's attached to this video, and we're asking any and all of you who can to donate as much as possible. This will allow us to provide support and aid to families that have literally watched their homes burn to the ground. The Red Cross is actively on the ground right now in the communities hardest hit, providing food, shelter, emotional care, recovery planning, and financial assistance to those who have been impacted the most. So we hope you'll join forces with us and donate as much as you can to bring a bit of relief. Just click the donate button in the campaign section alongside this video, and let's go help some hurting people. Okay, let's find out what happens next for Batman in Detective Comics. Issue 1092 starts off where we last left off, with Kai being found by the serial killer Asema. She then pulls him out of his hotel room and says, "You don't get to hurt anyone else, Kai. Your time is over." We are then taken to the Batcave where we see Batman sparring with Robin. Batman then says, "Well?" And Robin tells him, "Yes, you're clearly faster, but it's not just the speed of your hits, father, it's the speed of thought. The Sangraal may be improving your neuroplasticity." So this is pretty interesting. The Sangraal, the Fountain of Youth serum Batman took last issue, is making him faster, but not just his physical speed, his speed of thought as well. Are these signs that this formula is going to give Batman some superhuman abilities? Will Batman finally be a legit metahuman? We're gonna have to wait to see how this plays out. Anyway, after sparring, Bruce goes over to his Bat computer and Damon asks what he's looking for. He says, "I'm trying to break down the makeup of what they've given me. There are a number of things in here I can't identify, but there are protein substances that point to someone in their mid-teens. And there are platelets that aren't my own." Damon asks, "Then whose blood was this taken from?" Before Batman can answer, Oracle calls saying, "I'm sorry to have to report this, but Kai Edwards has been murdered." Obviously, Batman and Robin go to check it out, but when they get there, Bullock tells Batman over comms they're not letting the GCPD near the body, Batman. Batman asks, "Who is it?" Bullock replies, "We're not even being told who they are, but the commissioner told us to keep out of there." Batman says, "I'll investigate," with Bullock saying, "The scene's completely locked down. The body is on a balcony. Will that be a problem?" We then see Batman and Robin jump out of the Batwing as Batman responds, "No, that won't be a problem." I mean, did Bullock really think that was going to be a problem for Batman and Robin? Like, what is he, new? Anyway, once Batman and Robin are inside, captions from Batman say, "His body is desiccated, drained. He didn't just bleed." As Robin says, "Someone took his blood." With Batman replying, "And someone with powers wants this hidden from the public and the police." Robin then starts to blame himself, saying, "I brought him here." But Batman tells him, "This is not on you." Robin continues to say, "I put Kai here for safety. He wasn't safe." Batman tells him, "Quiet," as he hears three men in suits in the room say, "The body's on the balcony, but search the room. We want to know who put Kai in this hotel." Robin asks, "Who are they?" And Batman tells him, "I don't know." Batman's internal monologue continues to say, "There are a number of indirect actions I could take from here to get the information I need. But the boy we tried to save yesterday is dead and my son is hurting. So I'm not feeling indirect." As Batman tells Robin, "Let's ask them." The dynamic duo then shows themselves as Batman says, "Identification." The three men then point their guns at them saying, "On the ground." Batman just stares at them saying, "That's not how this works. This is my city." But they insist that Batman and Robin put their hands where they can see them, at which point they are more than easily taken down by the Caped Crusader and the Boy Wonder. But before they leave, Batman has Oracle take a picture of one of the wallets he takes from the men, as there's a weird symbol in it. It's a grail with wings, and he wants to find out what it is. The comic then takes us to the Thoramized headquarters the next day. Bruce is there doing a follow-up to his Fountain of Youth procedure, where his friend Scarlet, the inventor of the formula, asks, "How are you feeling, Bruce?" He says, "I feel good. Very good." She says, "You don't realize how many small pains your body has until they're erased, right? The second dose won't be as transformative, but you'll definitely feel more improvements." He tells her, "What you've made is remarkable, Scarlet. I'd love to know more about it." She tells him, "I'm sure you would, and I'm sure my investors would love me sharing the details of my company's most important development with a corporate rival." He responds, "We don't have to be rivals. I'm always looking for exciting investment opportunities. And if there's any way I can help make Sangraal available to more people." She then interrupts saying, "No, I'm sorry, my investors would not," as she clearly seems nervous. Batman's inner monologue says, "She's scared." She then whispers to Bruce, "I stuck my neck out a little to get you added to this. You weren't on the approved list. Please, Bruce, don't bring this up again." His inner monologue continues to say, "Someone is watching," as he tells her, "Of course, I'm very grateful for the opportunity you've given me here." His inner monologue then says she clearly can't speak freely in this building, as he asks her, if I can't invest millions in your company, could I at least buy you a dinner? She agrees, and later on they go to the Lucas Reese Steakhouse, and as they're sitting down eating, he tells her, I like this restaurant. She asks, do you own it? He responds, do you think I own everything I like? Scarlet tells him, I don't know. I'm new to obscene wealth. I never aspired to be a corporate overlord. He asks, is that how you think of me? She responds, you were in the office about 3 times when I worked for you. Overlords are traditionally more hands-on. He then asks how Evelyn, aka her mom, is, but she quickly changes the subject, saying, not great. He apologizes and then asks her, are you able to help given what you've created? She says no. Now, hold the phone, because they just confirmed that Scarlet's mother is in fact the same young woman named Evelyn that Thomas and Martha Wayne protected from Joe Chill all those years ago, as we saw in issue 1090. But that also confirms that Scarlet Scott, Bruce's childhood friend, the woman who ended up giving him the Sangraal Fountain of Youth formula, is indeed Joe Chill's daughter. Which means that Bruce is at dinner and seemingly has a crush on the daughter of his parents' killer. Wrap your head around that one. Once he realizes this, he's gonna need some serious therapy. More than ever now. Although I find it a little odd that he doesn't already know this, because Bruce is the world's greatest detective, and if he's always known the Joker's name like he stated at the end of the 3 Jokers story, how the hell does he not know Scarlet is Joe Chill's daughter? That doesn't make any sense to me. Either way, this is getting real interesting, so let's get back to the comic. Bruce tells her, I don't know who's in charge of approvals, but surely your own mother can make the list. While drinking wine, Scarlet responds, there's nothing I can do for her. At this point, she gets up and says, I should go. Bruce then asks her if she wants dessert, but she tells him no, I have an early start tomorrow. Bruce apologizes, saying, if I said the wrong thing, but she continues walking out as he gets up as well and says, I'll walk you to your car. She asks, you're not gonna pay for the bill? He tells her, I own the restaurant. Which is pretty funny, as that's what she initially asked him when they sat down to eat. In any case, when they leave the restaurant, there's 2 men outside waiting to mug them, saying money, jewelry, watches, phones. Bruce then says to himself, I have to shoot this down quickly, but I can't look too competent. Get between Scarlet and the gunmen, disarm with brute force. But before he could finish his thoughts, Scarlet kicks the gun out of the thug's hands and disarms the other one holding a knife, easily making quick work of them all by herself. Bruce then joins in and says to himself, Scarlet can clearly handle herself, but that doesn't mean she has to handle them alone. We can dance together. After they take care of the 2 thugs, the police come and pick them up, as Bruce asks Scarlet, did I miss the part where geneticists are also trained fighters? She replies, I'm in the business of life extension. To me, that also means being capable of protecting the only life I have. She then asks Bruce as she gets into her car, are you all right? I know what happened to your parents, Bruce. You don't have to pretend to be okay. Not for me. As she puts her hand on his face, because she knows 2 armed thugs like the ones they just faced killed his parents all those years ago. Bruce says to himself, this is a mistake. I know it, but at the moment, I don't care, as he starts to kiss her. But that also leads him to going back to Scarlet's private penthouse, where they fully get it on. While still in bed, Bruce says, I want you to know when I invited you out to dinner, I really wasn't planning anything like this. She says, this wasn't exactly premeditated for me either. She then gets out of bed as he says, you didn't plant the muggers to get me at my most vulnerable? She then walks away as Bruce stares, with her asking, because revisiting your past trauma is the perfect date, right? He then answers right, as he sees her laptop next to her nightstand, at which point he puts an Oracle flash drive in to copy everything from her computer. While trying to hurry up and copy her hard drive, she asks from the bathroom, so those scars from your various sports car crashes? He says, yeah. She tells him, you know I've had to study a lot of medicine, right? He replies, I'd assume so. And when she comes out in a robe, she asks, were those spark cars built with bullets? He plays coy like, what do you mean? And she says, I think you have some secrets, Bruce Wayne. So let's pause one more time, because Bruce just slept with the daughter of his parents' killer. Yeah, one thing to have a crush on her, entirely different situation to sleep with her. Needless to say, I do not think Bruce is coming back from that one. Anyway, sometime after this, Bruce takes the drive he took from Scarlet's computer to Oracle, telling her it's the contents of Scarlet Scott's private computer. Damian asks, and how did you get access to that? Oracle chimes in and says, are Batman and Bruce Wayne doing some kind of covert team up? Clearly hinting she knows what he did to get that. In any case, she asks, what am I looking for? He tells her, the agency Robin and I encountered at the scene of Kai's murder, LXR. I found no sign of their existence. No one in law enforcement has heard of them, but their identification card showed a grail. The treatment I've been given is named after the grail. Oracle says, it sounds like a coincidence. Batman replies, yes, I want to rule out the coincidence. Something's not right. Scarlet was nervous inside her own company building yesterday. I believe we were being monitored. Damian asks, by whom? Batman replies, I don't know. Oracle then says, well, there's nothing here linking LXR and Scarlet's company, but there is something you should see. Batman asks, what? She tells him it's all heavily encrypted. I can't read the body of any emails, but there are receipts. The kids targeted by the killer came from the Faultless Juvenile Detention Center. Batman asks, why is that relevant? Damian says, because, father, it looks like your new girlfriend is in business with the prison. As the comic comes to an end, and with that, we jump into issue 1093. Alright, issue 1093 starts off with a flashback of Bruce talking about how a memorial to his parents grew beside the manor gates the day after they died. Mourners left flowers and photos, letters of sorrow and gratitude, but over time the messages dwindled. The flowers died and all the good they did was forgotten, but not by all, as he sees a mother and her daughter leaving flowers at the manor gates. A young Bruce walks over saying, did you know them? The mother replies, I did, though not as well as they knew me. You must be Bruce. I'm Evelyn. This is my daughter. Her daughter then says, hi, I'm Scarlet Martha Scott. Bruce says, Martha was my mother's name. Evelyn tells Bruce, your mother was very kind to me. She saved me. She saved both of us. As tears roll down her face because she knows her abusive former boyfriend and the father of her daughter is the one who killed them. Evelyn puts her hands through the gate and grabs Bruce's hand, pulling him towards her, saying, please, Bruce, I need you to know how sorry I am for what he... But before she could finish what she was saying, Alfred comes walking out and quickly calls to Bruce. Again, if there was any question left about whether this was the same Evelyn that the Waynes hid from Joe Chill, that just answered it. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think this might be a freaking brilliant twist for Bruce Wayne Batman. Anyway, Evelyn then backs up saying, I didn't mean to frighten him. Alfred then pushes Bruce back saying, it's all right, Master Bruce. I'm here. He then tells Evelyn, you should remove yourself from this property, ma'am, or do I need to call the authorities? She says, no, we'll go. I'm sorry. As she takes Scarlet and walks away. Man, I can't wait to see more of these flashbacks because it seems like our theories were right and Tom Taylor is making it so that Bruce's parents being gunned down in Crime Alley wasn't just a random act of violence. It was revenge from Joe Chill as Thomas and Martha are responsible for taking away his girlfriend and unborn baby. We don't know if that's how it's gonna play out, but it certainly seems likely. Anyway, back in the present, we get captions from Batman saying 17 teenagers have been released from Faultless Juvenile Detention Center in the last 6 months. 10 of them have now been murdered by a serial killer. We've been monitoring the former detainees, but so far I failed to protect them. I won't fail another. We need to round up the 7 young people, keep them safe. As we see, Batman has sent out his Bat family such as Red Hood, Spoiler, Tim Drake Robin, Signal, Batgirl, and Damian to gather the remaining teenagers. However, Batman is going after the 7th and final teen himself, as we see this kid try to get into his apartment with his stepdad saying, you're not coming in here. The boy says, Mom, can you hear me? But the man just punches the kid and is about to hit him again as Batman arrives, blocking his punch saying, I won't leap to conclusions. Explain quickly. The man tells Batman, stepkid's been back a week and stole my damn car. Batman asks the kid, why, Spencer? The boy says, cause he hurts my mom and she won't do anything about it. Batman asks the man, is that true? As the man pulls out a shotgun, pointing it at Batman saying, I don't have to answer any of your questions. Then with a gun to his chest, Batman says, it's all right, Spencer, I'm here. The man then says, you can both get out of my house, freak. Batman just simply asks, or you're gonna shoot? The man then cowers, getting scared of Batman, as Batman tells him, you small man. And with that, Batman takes the gun from the man's hands while saying, a home is supposed to be a refuge, a place where a child should feel safe. You destroyed that, as he breaks the gun over his knee. He then cuffs the man and throws him to the ground saying, Oracle, on my location. I need 2 uniformed officers we trust, and I need Ann Ford's team at Social Services. I'll stay until the situation is controlled here, so start without me. We then see an undisclosed location where the Bat family has brought all the kids that have been targeted. Batgirl then tells them a serial killer is targeting people recently at a Faultless Juvenile Detention Center. The kids are like, yeah, we know. Batgirl says, we're not gonna let that happen to any of you. One of the kids says, why not? Do you know what I've done? Tim Drake tells them, I've done worse, with Jason Todd saying, me too. The kid says, you don't know me. And on the next page, Batman arrives with the final kid saying, I know you. Your name is Nicholas Fairgrave, and I know exactly what you did when you were 13 years old. I'm not excusing the actions of your past, nor am I forgiving them. I'm more concerned about what you choose to do next. We want to ensure there is a next for you. Nicholas asks, how are you gonna do that? Are you gonna keep us here? We've already been in prison. Red Hood then says mass kidnapping and unlawful restraint would certainly make things easier. As Spoiler says, but we had another thought. The Bat family then throws down duffel bags full of clothes for each kid. As they explain, the shoes, watches, and caps each have a hidden button. Press it if you're in danger and we'll be there. Think of these as personal bat signals. We are then taken to later where Bruce is on patrol as Batman in the city but gets a call from Scarlet saying, Bruce, "You called." He says, "Of course, I had a good time last night." She says, "Well, you can't beat dinner and fighting muggers in a parking lot." He responds, "It's a classic pairing. I was wondering if you felt like a nightcap." She tells him, "I'm busy tonight. Sorry." He says, "Oh, I see. Never mind. Well, I'll be in tomorrow for my next treatment. Maybe we can have lunch?" As she looks at a suspicious doctor that administers her formula as the doctor is giving her a dirty look. Scarlet then tells Bruce, "Maybe. I'm really busy tonight." He says, "It's okay. I have things I need to attend to." We then see Batman chasing down a man on top of rooftops as Batman's captions say, "In the last 2 days, there has been sudden influxes of mercenaries arriving in Gotham. We were already tracking the movements of many of these people before they arrived," as he finally catches the one he's chasing. He says, "Too many people like you have entered my city this week. Why?" The assailant says, "It doesn't matter, man. I'm leaving Gotham. We all are." Batman tells him, "That's not an answer to my question." The man then says, "There was a price on someone who's been killing kids, but the job has been canceled." Batman asks, "Who offered the job?" Then on the next page, we see this mercenary has clearly pointed Batman to the Penguin. As Batman arrives at the Iceberg Lounge, Penguin says, "This is becoming an unwelcome habit." Batman says, "Penguin, you put out a hit on the killer." Penguin tells him, "I did no such thing. Many of my younger employees have stopped showing up for work, so I offered a bounty. But I certainly didn't call for an assassination. I wanted this one alive. However, the price on the killer's head was removed, and not by me." Batman asks, "Who has the power to do that?" Penguin tells him, "I don't know, and that troubles me. Someone established, connected, and old." Batman then says the murderer is protected by a secret power. Penguin agrees, saying, "It would seem so. I called in a lot of favors, and I did acquire a name for our killer, Asema." But before Batman can finish his conversation with Penguin, he gets a call from Oracle saying, "One of the kids is being attacked 2 blocks from your location." So Batman immediately leaves to go save said kid, as the killer is literally trying to rip him out of the car, saying, "Spencer Robertson, you stole this car." Spencer says, "I was returning it," but she says, "It doesn't matter. You were already given a second chance. You do not deserve another one," as she goes to kill him with her needle hands. But Batman arrives just in time, saying, "Asema." Taken back, she says, "It's you, the Batman. I have no fight with you. I admire you so much. You have inspired me." Batman says, "Spencer, don't move." She says, "You know this criminal?" Batman then says to Spencer, "I'll get you help," as she lunges towards Batman and says, "No, you can't help him. Why would you fight for someone like this? He doesn't deserve your aid or your mercy. None of them do." As Batman continues to fight her, she's able to slice Spencer's neck. Batman then kicks her in the face, saying she cut an artery. Have to stop the bleeding. But as Batman is trying to tend to Spencer, she sneak attacks him from behind, stabbing him in the face with a concealed needle. Batman then says, "Can already feel the effects of the anesthetic. In a few moments, I'll be useless." Vision's already clouding as he holds Spencer's hand, saying, "I'm here," with Asema standing over both of them, saying, "You can't fight this. But don't worry, Batman. He'll be fine when you wake up." She then kicks Batman's hand away from Spencer, saying, "Let him go. You need to learn that not every life is worth saving." And as she walks away, Batman says there's a scent, white musk. Then later, we see that Asema does indeed work for Theramise, as she takes the needles she stabbed Batman with and has her computer do a cross-reference with current Sangraal patients. Once it analyzes it, she finds out that Batman is Bruce Wayne, so that's kind of crazy, but we still don't know who Asema is, as her face stays in the shadows. But it seems clear it's either Scarlet, the doctor she works with, or her mother, Evelyn. I'm assuming we're gonna find out in the next issue. In all likelihood, it's probably Evelyn who's scarred that Joe Chill, her former boyfriend, killed Bruce's parents after Thomas and Martha gave him a second chance. And now that she knows Batman is Bruce Wayne, once they confront each other, she could be like, "Your dad should have let Joe Chill die. The way you go about things trying to rehabilitate people doesn't work. Your parents are proof of that." In fact, this whole story opens up with a future portion of the story where Asema has Batman trapped, and she says to him, "Don't make the same mistake your father did." So we'll have to see how it all comes together, but this is a really interesting plot, and if I was to put my money on a certain character being Asema, it's gonna be Evelyn. But there you have it, guys. Detective Comics issue 1093. This series has been fascinating. The things it's doing to Batman's mythos, as it seems to literally be changing the origin of what made Batman Batman in the first place, is kind of crazy. Because like we've been saying, if Tom Taylor makes it so that Bruce's parents being gunned down in Crime Alley wasn't just a random act of violence, but revenge on Joe Chill's part for taking away his girlfriend and unborn daughter, that's gonna have some serious consequences and effects going forward for Bruce and Batman. Especially when he finds out that he likes and is sleeping with Joe Chill's daughter. We're gonna keep following this really closely because this is having some massive effects on Batman's origin and the reason he became Batman in the first place. Needless to say, we're very excited to see what comes out of this, but that's just our 2 cents. What are you guys thinking? Are you digging it as much as we are? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.